Tuesday is tomorrow, and many local charities are not only in need of donations, but also a break.
New at 6 tonight, 12 News reporter Brock Wilson talks to multiple nonprofits about the mental toll their jobs have on them and what can be done to help.
Some local nonprofits like the Child Advocacy Center say they need more help reaching their goals. Other charities say burnout is making it harder to find workers and get people involved in helping out.
Mental health and burnout in regards to those people that are providing the direct services to our clients is something that we're always aware of.
Child Advocacy Center of Sedgwick County CEO Diana Shunn says in order to avoid burnout, her organization looks for ways to help workers.
Provide them support and to continue to provide them with opportunities for getting away, for being thanked.
Wichita's Littlest Heroes helps kids with life-threatening medical conditions. Founder Brianna Baskerville says her employees have been dealing with a lot of burnout lately.
Nonprofits need to be paying attention to who their employees are serving and what they're having to deal with on a day-to-day basis.
She says nonprofit workers should make sure to take time to themselves.
I took 3 months off to spend with my kids and family and just kind of rejuvenate myself so that I can give back.
One of the best ways you can help those that are helping others is to let them know you're thinking of them.
Whether that's a small gift basket or cookies, popcorn, those kinds of things are all different ways that we can recognize different nonprofit workers within the community that are dealing with difficult topics on a regular basis.
In Wichita, Brock Wilson, 12 News.
Both tell us you can support nonprofits this holiday season simply by contacting them and asking how you can help. We have a list of local charities on the links we mentioned tab on the KWCH website. You can also find it on the 12 News app.